Okay, we'll look at some easy logarithms to base a. So looking at our statements of y equals a to the x, we can now rewrite that statement. So we're rewriting statements about powers when we do logarithms. So 81 is 3 to the power of 4, and with the other rule on the left-hand side of log a to the a is equal to 1. So the way to actually say that is log to the base a of b equals x, we'd say. So the second one, do something similar. We have base x in this case, so x squared is equal to 49. Remember, logarithms only exist for positive bases. Similarly, with the last question here, just make sure you use the corresponding power fact in the right way, and you'll end up with 5 to the power of minus 2, which is y, which is equal to 1 over 25. So the key to being confident in these questions is to actually write down the definition and just practice it. In our first two questions here, we're going to express the question given as a single logarithm to base a. So now I'm using the power rule on the first one there, the first term. And if you just put it together, so instead of adding, you're multiplying. That's the multiplication rule you can see on the left-hand side. So if you put that together, you get log to the base a, and 2 to the power of 3 is 8, so 8 times 10 is 80. You can leave it like that. We're just expressing it as stated. Next one is the same question, just that you use the division rule instead. So division law. So you're getting log to the base a, and 4 to the power of 3 is 64. So 64 divided by 8, of course, is log to the base a of 8. And that's basic ideas with base a questions there. The last one here will have similar aspects, but it's just a little bit more. So with the first part there, you can see again, we're going to invert the power law. So we have a different base as well. Base log to the base 5. So as we go along, we're just going to put in our rules wherever we can. So we're just looking for the technique that fits. So log to the base 5, so we have log both sides. I'm not actually going to write that down, but we log both sides. So you get x squared all over 3x. And then, of course, by logging base 5, you get 5 squared, 5 to the power of 2. Multiply across, you get x squared is equal to 5 squared is 25 times 3x is 75x. And just make that into an equation, and we'll find one answer of 75. Remember, there's no negative values. It just doesn't work for logarithms. Sometimes we need to change the base of a logarithm, so in base b it can be rewritten with a different base of c using the change of base rule, as you can see on the left hand side. On the right hand side we have something we can solve. So we have it to a base 3 and a base 9 from left to right. So how do we do this? Well, we're just going to literally rewrite it using the formula that I just outlined on the left hand side, with a different base to 9, so log to base 3. And from there we generally will use the rules we've already been looking at, multiplication, division, or power rule. So we have x plus 6. Now I've already written on the left hand side that log to base 3 of 9 is in fact 2. So you can see that in the black ink. And now just multiplying across, so 2 times log to the base 3 of x, which we had already, is equal to the right hand side that we had on top. And now we can log both sides because we have the same base. So x squared minus x minus 6, when you bring it all over to one side, or cancel on sides, you can make it equal to 0 if you want. You'll have 3 and 2, so minus 3 and plus 2. And just, I'm going to do a little check of this as well. So you have x is equal to minus 2, and we have x is equal to 3. So if x is equal to 3, just looking at the right hand side, we'd have 3 plus 6, which is 9. Log to the base 9 of 9 is 1, so it works. So a, b, and c need to be greater than 0. B and c cannot be equal to 1, but in this case it works. So a little bit of a check there is needed for some questions to make the understanding clear. And of course we have a negative 2, which does not work with logarithms. I will reiterate that if a or b or c are greater than 0 and b or C is not equal to 1, then we can actually use this change of base for log